Hey, beautiful friends. Welcome. It's Catherine Ewing here. So glad you could join me on these 13 days to activate your inner light through radical self-care. I'm really excited to offer this series to you, and I'm really just so delighted that you jumped in. So before I jump into today's, actual content, I want to do a little bit of background to sort of set the stage for everything that we're going to do going forward. And that is to talk about energy, because everything I do has to do with energy, consciousness, right? Vibration, frequency. So you'll hear me use these words a lot as we go through the series. And I just want to give a little bit of background before I jump in. So the first thing that you probably all know, but at the sake of, at the risk of being redundant, I'm going to say it again. Everything is energy, right? There is nothing that exists in the universe that is not made of energy. All energy has its own consciousness or its own inner wisdom, whatever that might happen to be. Every thought, word, action, emotion has its own vibrational frequency. We're familiar, right, with the Abraham Hicks, right, the emotional guidance scale, or perhaps the map of consciousness with Dr. David Hawkins, where even emotions, energy in motion, every emotion has its own vibrational frequency. The energies that move through us faster, that have higher vibrating frequencies, are the energies of, right, gratitude, love, freedom, appreciation, and joy. Those are at one end of the continuum. And then at the other end of the continuum, neither good nor bad, just the difference in the density of the energy, are things like shame, guilt, blame, depression, despondency, powerlessness, despair. So even as I speak, I'm sure you can sense, feel into, hear the difference in the energy between the higher vibrating energies, the higher frequencies, if you will, that are on one end of that scale, and the heavier, denser energies that are on the other end. So all of my work with clients is all about clearing the heavy, dense energies that they may have collected, if you will, uh, in their energy bodies, in their cellular memory, in their thought patterns, belief systems, throughout the course of their lifetime. And if you have a belief in past lives, then there is also an influence of the energy from past lives. And when that energy has more of the heavier, denser energies, guilt, blame, sadness, disappointment, resentment, anger, fear, worry, shame, guilt, blame, you get the idea, right? Then then our own personal energy signature, if you will, is heavier and denser. And we know that the law of attraction tells us that we attract things to us based on our energy, on our vibration. So the more of those heavier, denser energies we have in our own energy body, in our field, in our aura, you can call it any number of things, in our cellular memory, the more we may be attracting unconsciously things that we don't want, and not able to attract or hold on to things that we do want. So I'm going to leave that there. There's so much written about this. I have other blog posts and videos about this. I don't want to overstate it, but I did want to just set that as kind of the undertone or the container for all of the work that we'll do in the next 13 days going forward. So, as I said, every thought, word, emotion, action has its own vibrational frequency. And so that's going to bring us right into today's exercise. And I'm putting this one right at the beginning because I'm going to ask you to carry this practice right through all of the days that we're going to be together. And because it's most impactful when you do it over time and stick with it and are consistent with it. Actually, as are most of the practices, but this one is really sort of very concrete. And this is all about cleaning up clutter, right? So I'm going to talk about this sort of in two different ways. One is outer clutter, the clutter that's in our environment, that's all around us, maybe in our home, in our car, in our office, in our closets, right? In our basements. And the other is the inner clutter, right? The emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, the belief systems, the prejudices, um, everything that we're holding internally. And we know spiritual practice tells us, as above, so below, as within, so without. So our energy, our inner energy and our outer energy are always dancing together, right? They are always interacting with and influencing each other. So when we have clutter in our lives, all the things I already just talked about, we also have clutter in our minds and in our emotions. A cluttered mind equals a cluttered life, and a cluttered life equals a cluttered mind. I can't tell you how many times in my life and in the lives of the clients that I've worked with, over heavens, 30 years now, hard to believe, that we see a pattern. When we start cleaning up the physical clutter, it begins to move energy and we begin to clear up the inner clutter, right? Old memories come up, emotions come up, things get stirred as we're making decisions about getting rid of things or what to do with things, right? And the opposite is true going the other way. When we focus on our inner world and start doing our healing work on old hurts, old wounds, old disappointments, things that, again, we have accumulated over the course of our lifetime, we sort of find this natural inclination to then want to clean up our environment. So what happens when we've got so much clutter in our world, both in our inner world and our outer world? So first is that it keeps us distracted, right? When there's a lot around us, there's a lot going on, it catches our attention. It can also, sometimes there's so much stuff that we lose things, right? So we waste time looking for things that we know we know we saw it, right? Where did I put that? And so things literally get lost, whether it's in our home or in our car or in our office, right? Or in our memory. There's just so much taking up space that we can't put our finger or our mind on the thing that we might want to find. Oftentimes, clutter will keep us stuck in the past, right? Mind clutter has a lot to do with retelling the story, proving ourselves, wishing we had said something differently, right? If only I'd said this, if only I'd said that, why did they do this? So here's the deal. We have between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts, right? I don't know how they figured out that number, actually. I always have this image of somebody with one of those clickers, right? Every thought, click, click, click. Anyway, it's been proven through research that of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, about 85% of them are repetitive. We have a lot of the same thoughts looping through our mind, and about 90% of those are not really supportive or not helpful in moving us forward to being the best expression of ourselves that we can be in the world. Very often we're either caught in the past, as I said, blame, shame, guilt, should have done this, could have done that, they did this, they did that, or in the future, worry, anxiety, the what ifs. What if I lose my job? What if my child gets sick? What if my lover doesn't want me anymore, right? So we are either caught in the past or in the future. And at the risk of sounding cliche, the only place where we can really experience joy, love, appreciation is in the present moment. So we get so distracted by the past or the future that we miss out on what's right in front of us in this present moment. We also miss out on tuning into our intuition. When the voice in our head is too loud, when the space around us is too busy, we have a difficult time moving inward and connecting with our own inner voice, our own knowledge, our own intuition, our own higher knowing. Um, we don't recognize or see the synchronicities that are happening around us, how spirit is moving things into some kind of divine order. It's not random, right? But we sort of have to train ourselves to notice, oh, look at that. See what happened when I did this, that. And when we're too distracted with clutter, we miss those synchronicities, or we just think they're random events. When we're, again, caught in the past or the future, we're less likely to be in a space of gratitude in our lives in the present moment. And as I mentioned earlier, gratitude and appreciation are two of the highest vibrating energies, that exist. The more we can be in calibrating at that level, in those higher levels of frequency, the more we find comes into our life to be grateful and appreciative for. I tell my clients it's like going on a, gratitude scavenger hunt. The more we look for and notice and appreciate the things in our life that we can be grateful for, we actually begin to see more of that in our life every day. So it brings us into an upward spiral, and it allows for new energy to flow in. That's the other piece with clutter, whether it's either internal or external. When there's so much jam-packed in our mind or in our space, there's no room for flow, right? There's no opportunity for anything new to come into your experience when everything is so tightly packed. Just think of your closet. If it's jam full of stuff, you can't bring something new in and put it in your closet unless you take something else out first. So this is what we're looking for, right? To begin to make space, create new opportunity, be more in the present moment. This is all connected to divine feminine energy. It's all about fluidity, space, opening, allowing, getting in touch with our intuition, listening in for that divine guidance. And we can't do that when we're locked into too much material, too much in the material world, or even too much in the mental world. So I'm checking my notes here because I kind of do these on the fly, but I generally jot down a few things just to make sure I cover them. Oh, so in the last couple minutes, here's what we're going to do. Clearing clutter enhances your creativity. It improves mental clarity. It releases our sense of attachment. We can let go of fear or lack. We can help others in the process of recycling or giving things away, and create an inner feeling of spaciousness or peace, or even, that sense of altruism when we give something away to somebody who we know will benefit from it. So for the next 12 days, or 13 actually, that we're going to be together, this is your homework. I'm going to ask you to get rid of 3 things a day for the next 12 or 13 days. It could be 3 pieces of paper. It could be 3 items of clothing. It could be 3 beliefs that are not serving you any longer. Honestly, it could be anything. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. It's just the idea, the willingness to begin to look at your inner and outer world and make some decisions about what you're ready to let go of, what may be holding you back, what you don't need anymore, what you might be holding on to out of fear. Oh my God, if I get rid of this, I'm going to need it someday, right? Or attachment. Oh, these are those tickets to that concert that I went to, that guy that I really liked, right? Whatever it might happen to be, when you show your willingness to say, okay, this is from the past. I can let this go. I don't need to hold on to this any longer. It shows the universe that you're willing to allow energy to flow and make space. All right, I said I'd keep it under 15 minutes. I'm right down to the wire. So get rid of 3 items a day for the next 12 days, and we'll see how we all feel when we're finished with this program. Okay, mwah, many blessings. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.